My name is Maya. I am 31 years old. I live in a small city. The city is called Greenfield. It is not a big city, but it was my home. I grew up there. I knew every street. I knew every corner. I knew every face. I had a simple life. I worked at a school. I was a teacher. I taught small children. They were 5 and 6 years old. I loved my job. The children made me smile. Every day I went to school. Every day I came home happy. I had a husband. His name was Daniel. We met when I was 25. He was tall. He had brown hair. His eyes were dark green. He smiled a lot. He was kind at first. He was funny at first. He made me feel safe. We got married after 2 years. I was 27 years old. The wedding was small. Only family and close friends. The day was sunny. I wore a white dress. My hands were shaking a little, but I was happy. I was very happy that day. We lived in a yellow house. It had 2 bedrooms. It had a small garden. I loved that garden. I planted flowers every spring, red ones and yellow ones. Daniel built a small bench for me. I sat there in the evenings. The air smelled like grass. Those were good times. We were together for 6 years. 6 long years. We had problems sometimes. All couples have problems. But I thought we were strong. I thought we loved each other. I thought we were a team. I was wrong. I did not know it yet, but I was wrong. I had one sister. Her name was Nina. She was 2 years younger than me. She was 29 years old. She had long, dark hair. She was beautiful. Everyone always said so. She was funny and loud. She laughed a lot. She took up space in every room. Nina and I were close. We grew up in the same house. We shared a bedroom for years. We told each other everything. At least, I thought so. She was my best friend. She was my sister. I trusted her completely. I had no reason not to. Nina came to our house often. She had dinner with us. She watched movies with us on weekends. She and Daniel got along well. I was happy about that. I wanted my sister and husband to be friends. I wanted my family to feel whole. Nina sometimes helped Daniel in the garden. I would watch from the kitchen window. I saw them laughing. I thought it was nice. I thought they were getting along. I cooked dinner and smiled to myself. I felt lucky. I had a husband and a sister. Both were close to me. Then things started to change, slowly, very slowly. I did not notice at first. Daniel came home later, some nights. He said he was working late. I believed him. He was quiet sometimes at dinner. I thought he was tired. I did not ask many questions. I trusted him. Nina called me less. We used to talk every day. Then it was every few days. Then once a week. I asked her if she was okay. She said yes. She said she was just busy. I believed her too. I did not think twice. She was my sister. One evening, Daniel was on his phone. He was in the bedroom. I walked in quietly. He turned the screen away fast. I saw his face change. His jaw got tight. He said it was just work. I said, okay. I walked out, but I felt something, a small feeling in my chest, like something cold. That feeling did not go away. It stayed with me for days. I could not explain it. I tried to forget it. I told myself I was imagining things. I told myself Daniel was honest. I told myself Nina was busy. I told myself everything was fine, but my body did not believe me. I started to notice small things. Daniel and Nina were on their phones at the same time. When I was in the kitchen, they would both be quiet. Nina avoided looking at me sometimes. When I walked into a room, a conversation would stop. These were small things, but they added up. One Saturday morning, Daniel went out early. He said he was going to the store. He was gone for 3 hours. He came back with nothing. He said he forgot what he needed. I looked at his face. He looked nervous. I said nothing, but I felt that cold feeling again, stronger this time. I started to check small things. I looked at the time he came home. I noticed when Nina called him instead of me. I noticed that she sometimes knew things about our house, things I had not told her. Once she asked about a leak in our bathroom. I had not told her about that leak. I stopped and thought, how did she know? I felt scared, not the kind of scared from danger, a different kind. The kind where you know something, but you do not want to know it. You push the thought away, but it keeps coming back. I pushed that thought away many times. I was not ready to face it. One night, I could not sleep. Daniel was asleep beside me. The room was dark, and the house was quiet. I lay there, staring at the ceiling. My heart was beating fast. I felt alone in that bed, even with him beside me. That was the loneliest feeling, alone in my own bed, in my own house. I got up quietly. I went to the kitchen. I made tea. The kitchen light was very bright. I sat at the table. I held the warm cup. My hands were cold. I thought about Nina. I thought about Daniel. I thought about the way they laughed together. I thought about the phone screen turning away. I sat there for a long time. The next week, I called Nina. She did not answer. I called again. She did not answer. I sent a message. She replied 2 hours later. She said she was busy. I asked if she wanted to have coffee. She said maybe next week. She never said yes anymore. She always said maybe. That hurt me. I went to Nina's apartment one afternoon. I did not call first. I just went. I knocked on the door. She took a long time to answer. When she opened the door, she looked surprised. Not happy surprised, nervous surprised. Her eyes were wide. She said my name quietly. I said hello. I said I was in the area. I said I wanted to see her. She let me in. The apartment looked normal, nothing strange. We had tea. She was quiet. I talked. She gave short answers. I felt the distance between us. Like a wall I could not see. I could feel it. It was there. I went home feeling worse than before. Something was very wrong. I did not know what yet, but I felt it in my whole body. Then came the day I found out. It was a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays I had a long day at school. I was tired. I came home early because a meeting was canceled. The house was quiet. I put my bag down. I called Daniel's name. No answer. I thought he was not home yet. I went to the kitchen to get water. I saw his jacket on the chair, so he was home. I called his name again. Still no answer. I walked toward the bedroom. The door was half open. I pushed it open. Daniel was on the phone. He was sitting on the bed. His voice was low. He did not hear me come in. I stood in the doorway. I heard him say her name. He said Nina. He said it softly, like it was something precious, like it was something private. He said, I miss you. I stood there. I could not move. I could not breathe. He turned and saw me. His face went white. He stood up fast. The phone was still in his hand. He said my name. He said Maya, but he could not finish the sentence. I looked at him. I looked at the phone. I looked at his face. I felt the floor move under me. Or maybe I was the one moving. I do not know. Everything felt strange. I turned around and walked to the living room. I sat on the couch. I stared at the wall. Daniel came in after me. He sat across from me. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said he needed to tell me something. I said, I think I already know. My voice was very flat. I did not sound like myself. He told me. He told me everything. He said he and Nina had feelings for each other. He said it started 8 months ago. 8 months. I counted that in my head. 8 months of lies. 8 months of normal dinners. 8 months of normal nights. 8 months of saying I love you while lying. I felt sick. My stomach turned hard. He said they had not planned it. He said it just happened. I have heard those words since then. They always say it just happened. Like feelings are a storm. Like people have no choices. Like you cannot stop. Like everything is an accident. He said he was sorry. He said he did not want to hurt me. But he had hurt me. He was still hurting me. Right there in that room. I asked him one question. I asked if Nina knew he was going to tell me. He said yes. He said they had decided together. Together. They made decisions together now. I was on the outside. The two people I loved most. They were on the inside. And I was alone on the outside. I asked Daniel to leave. I said, please go. He said he could stay. He said we could talk. I said no. I said, please go now. He looked at me for a moment. Then he got up. He got his jacket. He went to the door. He turned and said my name one more time. I did not look at him. He left. The door closed. The house was quiet. I sat on that couch for a long time. I did not cry at first. I just sat there. My hands were in my lap. The room was cold. The light was fading outside. I watched the light change from afternoon yellow to gray evening. I just sat there. I did not eat. I did not move. I just sat. Then I called Nina. She answered on the second ring. She knew. I could tell from her voice. She had been waiting for me to call. I said nothing for a moment. She said my name. She said, Maya, I am so sorry. Her voice broke a little. I felt something hard in my chest, like a stone. I said nothing for a long moment. Then I said, how long? She said 8 months, same as Daniel. The same 8 months. I asked her why she did not tell me. She said she could not. I asked her why. She said she was scared. I asked scared of what? She said scared of losing me. But she lost me anyway. She lost me the moment she chose him. I said that to her. I said you lost me anyway. She started to cry. I did not cry. I said goodbye. I ended the call. That night was very long. I could not sleep. I lay in my bed. The same bed, the same pillow, the same ceiling, but everything was different now. I thought about our 6 years. I thought about the yellow house. I thought about the garden and the bench. I thought about the white dress and the sunny day. I thought about how sure I was, how safe I felt. And then I thought about 8 months of lying, 8 months under the same roof. And I had not known. I had not seen it. That made me feel stupid. That was the worst part. Not the betrayal, the not knowing. I cried then, alone in the dark. I cried for a long time. I pressed my face into the pillow. I did not want to hear myself. I cried until my eyes hurt. I cried until I had no more tears. And then I just lay there, empty, very empty. The next morning was strange. I woke up and for 1 second I forgot. For 1 second everything was normal. Then I remembered, and the weight came back, like something heavy falling on my chest. I got up. I went to the bathroom. I looked at my face in the mirror. My eyes were swollen. My face was pale. I looked tired. I looked sad. I was both of those things. I went to school that day. I do not know how, but I went. I stood in front of my class. 20 small children looked at me. They were happy to see me. They waved their little hands. I felt something crack open inside me, but I smiled. I smiled for them. I taught the lesson. I read them a story. When they laughed, I almost cried, but I held it. I held it all day. When I got home that evening, Daniel was back. He had come to get some things. He had a bag. He moved quietly. He did not look at me much. I sat at the kitchen table. I watched him. He took some clothes. He took his charger. He took his book from the night table. The little things of a life packed into a bag. I watched him and said nothing. Before he left, he stopped in the kitchen doorway. He said he was staying with a friend, not with Nina. He said that part specifically. Not with Nina. I do not know if that was true. I did not ask. I said, okay. He nodded. He left. The door closed again. This time it felt final. The weeks after that were very hard. I had never felt so alone. The house felt too big. The bedroom felt too quiet. I ate simple things. Toast, soup, things I did not have to cook. I sat in the garden sometimes, on the bench Daniel built. I sat there and looked at the flowers. I had planted them. I tended them. They were mine, but even they felt sad. I did not tell many people at first. I told my coworker, Rachel. She was kind. She listened. She did not say too much. She just sat with me in the staff room. She brought me tea. She said I was going to be okay. I did not believe her then, but I was glad she said it. I did not tell my parents for 2 weeks. I was scared to say the words. Saying them made it real. My mother answered the phone when I finally called. I said, Mom, Daniel and Nina. I could not finish the sentence. She was quiet. Then she said, What? I said again, Daniel and Nina. She understood. She made a sound I had never heard her make before, like something breaking. My parents were hurt too. Nina was their daughter too. Daniel had been part of our family. Now both of them were gone. My mother cried on the phone. My father came on and said my name very firmly. He said, Maya, you are strong. He said, this will not break you. I held the phone and cried. I said, I know, Dad. I did not know, but I said, I know. I did not see Nina for a long time after that. She sent messages, long messages. She said she was sorry. She said she loved me. She said she never wanted to hurt me. She said she could not help her feelings. I read the messages, every one of them, but I did not reply. What was there to say? Sorry is a small word for a large thing. The months that followed were dark. Winter came. The garden was empty. The flowers were gone. I came home to an empty house every day. I heated soup. I sat at the table alone. I watched television I did not care about. I went to bed early. I woke up tired. The days were gray. Everything was gray. But I kept going to school. That was the one thing. The children needed me every morning. I had to be there. I had to be present. When I stood in front of them, I forgot for a moment. I forgot the empty house. I forgot Daniel's face. I forgot Nina's long dark hair. I just saw the little hands. I just heard the little voices. And for those hours, I was okay. I started seeing a counselor in February. Her name was Dr. Larson. She had a calm voice. Her office was small and warm. There were plants on the windowsill. I went every Tuesday after school. I sat in the chair across from her, and I talked about Daniel, about Nina, about the 8 months, about the bench in the garden, about the white dress, about all of it. Dr. Larson did not tell me what to feel. She asked me questions, slow, quiet questions. She let me find the answers myself. Some days I left her office feeling lighter. Some days I left feeling heavier, but I always came back. I kept going. That was the only thing I knew how to do. Keep going. Spring came slowly. The days got longer. The light came back. I planted flowers in the garden again. I did not know why. I almost did not. But one morning, I just went to the garden shop. I bought seeds. I came home. I planted them. My hands were in the dirt. The soil was cold, but the sun was on my back, and I felt something. A small thing. A warm, small thing. In March, I found a new apartment. I had thought about it for months. The yellow house was Daniel's name too. We owned it together. He offered to buy my half. I said yes. I did not want the house anymore. The house had too many memories. Every room had a ghost. The kitchen where I waited for him to come home. The bedroom where I stared at the ceiling. The garden bench. The flowers. I needed to leave all of it. The new apartment was on the 3rd floor. It was smaller. It had big windows. The light came in the mornings. It was not yellow. It was white with gray floors. Clean and simple. I moved in on a Saturday. I carried boxes up the stairs. Rachel helped me. 2 other coworkers came. We moved boxes and laughed and ate pizza on the floor. It was a small thing, but it felt like something. I bought new things for the apartment. A new couch, a soft gray one, new pillows, a plant for the windowsill. Small things, but they were mine, only mine. No one else chose them. No one else's hands had touched them. They were only Maya's things. That felt important, more important than I expected. In April, I started running. Just small runs at first, around the block, then to the park and back, then further. My lungs hurt, my legs hurt, but I kept going. I ran in the mornings before school. The air was cold. My breath was white in the air. My feet hit the pavement. Each step was mine. Each breath was mine. Running made me feel real, like I was still here, like my body was still mine. I made a new friend that spring. Her name was Lena. She was a neighbor in my building. We met at the mailbox. She was friendly. She laughed easily. We had coffee once and then twice. Then we started walking together on weekends. She did not know my story at first, but when I told her, she listened. She did not say too much. She said that sounds very painful, and that was enough. Simple and honest. Summer came. I felt better. Not fully, not completely, but better. The gap between the heavy moments got wider. Some days I woke up and felt okay. Not just surviving, actually okay. Those days surprised me at first. I did not trust them. I thought the pain would come back and erase the good. Sometimes it did, but the good days kept coming back. They got more common. Like the light in my new apartment, more and more each morning. I stopped waiting for Daniel to call. For months, I had secretly hoped. Not that we would get back together. I did not want that anymore. But I hoped he would call and say something that made sense. Something that explained everything. Some reason that would make the 8 months of lying feel less cruel. He never called with that reason, because there was no reason good enough. I finally accepted that. The hope stopped quietly, like a lamp turning off. Nina sent one more message in June, a long one. She said she thought about me every day. She said she missed her sister. She said she was sorry every day too. She said she loved me, even if I never spoke to her again. I read it 3 times. I did not reply, but I did not delete it. I saved it. I did not know why. Maybe because somewhere, deep and far away, she was still my sister. Even after everything, that part did not disappear. It just hurt too much to touch. By autumn, I was a different person. Not brand new, not healed completely, but different. I was stronger in ways I had not been before. I knew what I could survive. I had survived the worst year of my life, and I was still standing. I was still going to school. I was still teaching. I was still planting flowers. I was still here. That meant something. I cooked more that autumn. Real meals, not just soup. I made pasta and stir fry and roasted vegetables. I ate at my own small table, sometimes with music, sometimes in quiet. Both were okay, both were mine. I chose what I wanted. That was a small freedom, but it felt large. I called my mother more. We talked like we used to. She asked about my apartment. She asked about work. She came to visit once. She walked around my new rooms. She touched the gray couch. She looked at the plant on the windowsill. She said, "It looks like you." I asked what that meant. She said, "It looks calm and good." I held her hand for a moment. We did not say anything. We did not need to. Then came October, almost exactly 1 year after the day I found out. I was at school. It was a normal Tuesday. I had finished my class. I was in the staff room. Rachel came in. She looked at me in a certain way. I asked what. She sat down. She said she heard something. She said she was not sure how to tell me. She told me. Daniel and Nina had broken up. It was not quiet. It was loud. There had been a fight in a restaurant. Other people saw it. Someone had posted about it. Nina had left. Daniel had tried to follow. It was a scene, a real scene. People saw them. People talked. In our small city, people always talk. I sat with that information. Rachel watched my face. She was waiting for me to react. I did not know what to feel at first. I waited to feel happy, the way you feel when something bad happens to someone who hurt you. I waited for that feeling. It did not come, not the way I expected. I felt something else, something quieter, not joy, not revenge, more like a long breath, the kind of breath after holding something heavy for a long time, like finally putting down a bag you forgot you were carrying, that kind of breath. My shoulders dropped a little. My jaw relaxed. I just sat there and breathed. Rachel asked if I was okay. I said yes. I said, "I really am." She looked at me. She believed me because it was true. I was okay. Not because they broke up, but because their breaking up had nothing to do with me anymore. Their story was their story. My story was mine. And my story was going well. That evening, I went home to my apartment, the one with the big windows. I made tea. I sat on my gray couch. I looked out the window. The sky was dark orange, the last of autumn light. It was quiet. My apartment was warm. My hands were warm around the cup. I felt still, really still, like water after a storm. I thought about Maya 5 years ago, the woman in the white dress, so sure, so happy. I thought about Maya 1 year ago, sitting on that couch in the yellow house, staring at the wall. I thought about Maya in the dark, crying into the pillow. I thought about Maya in the garden, with cold hands, planting seeds she almost did not plant. I thought about all of those Mayas, and I felt something close to tenderness for all of them. For myself, I had been through a hard thing, a very hard thing, and I had kept going every single day, even on the days I did not want to, even on the gray winter days, even when the house was too quiet, even when the bench in the garden made me cry. I kept going. I kept teaching. I kept running. I kept planting. I kept building. I want to say something about forgiveness because people ask about it. I do not think I have forgiven Daniel. Not fully, not yet, maybe someday. I do not think I have forgiven Nina either. Not the version of forgiveness where everything is fine and normal. That might never come. But I have let go of the anger that was hurting me. The rage that sat in my chest like a fire, that slowly went out, not because I decided it, it just ran out of fuel. When I stopped feeding it every day, it quieted. And Nina, my sister, there is still a door between us, closed. I do not know if it will ever open. Maybe one day, maybe never. But I know this. She is the one who has to live with what she did. She and Daniel both chose. And now they have to live with those choices. That is not my burden. It was never my burden. My burden was to survive. And I did. My burden was to rebuild. And I did. My burden was to find myself again. After losing everything I thought I was. After losing the wife, the sister, the yellow house, the bench, the 6 years, all of it. I found something on the other side of losing all of that. I found Maya, just Maya. Not the wife, not the sister, not the woman in the white dress. Just me, 31 years old, teaching small children, running in the mornings, eating pasta alone at my small table, growing plants on the windowsill, talking to Lena from the building, texting my father, sitting on a gray couch, watching the orange sky. Just Maya. And that was enough, more than enough. That was everything. My name is Maya. I am 31 years old. I live in a white apartment with big windows. I teach children every morning. I run before the sun is fully up. I drink tea on my small balcony. I talk to my father on the phone. I have a friend named Lena. I plant red and yellow flowers. My life was broken once. I did not know if it would come back. It did. Not the same as before. Different. Smaller in some ways. Bigger in others. More honest. More mine. And that is more than enough. That is everything. That is my life. And I choose it every single day.